no hyenas just yet, but let's not give up just yet. Let's see if we can see some. We're going to go around the termite mound as quietly as we can. The clouds in the background look magnificent. I tell you what, there is a very bad stink here. Can you smell that, Dave?
Yeah.
Sounds like something was killed. Here we go, we've got a hyena. Slowly, I'm going to creep up to a position where I'm not going to frighten her too much. It looks like a female that's been lying down. Oh, there's a youngster right by it as well. How cool is this, everyone? We came in here nice and quietly, and we were blessed with the presence of a young hyena lying down with the mother. Isn't this special? Looks like a young male. The youngster looks like a young male. Let's go to James quickly for the sunset, and we'll be back with the hyenas just now.
We wanted to show you I wanted to show you the sunset. Viam wants to go and look for leopards. Just have a quick look, come on. But the sun has just peeped down behind that, behind those clouds there. There we go. Now that you can see on your screen is basically what it looks like in reality. Isn't that amazing? All right, so our plan from here, everyone, is going to be to head on to Arathusa. There were tracks of Tingana going there this morning, and no one from there has followed up. They're all following or trying to find the Anderson male off to the western side of Arathusa. So let's just pop along there. We'll do a brief sojourn down there and see if we can't pick his tracks up. Aubrey followed him all the way onto Arathusa today, but Aubrey obviously is not allowed to drive on Arathusa. So that's going to be our plan from here. Hello, Gracie. Aged just 8 years. What have you seen? A bull ellie. Viam was pointing like it needed a complete imbecile for missing this thing. I suppose fair enough. Gracie, you say it's okay that we ate those little bits of fruit because I am a growing boy. Well, I am, yes. You know, the doctors told my mother that I was going to be 6 feet tall. I'm 5'8", so I've got another 4 inches to go. So thank you very much for that kindness of yours. And you say, am I going to take the thorn out of Viam's hand? Gracie, he did it himself. It's out. He's okay. I'll put a band plaster on it when we get home. There's a big bull elephant, everyone. He's feeding. I just love the way they move the mess that they've made. So they've pushed over all these trees, and that's provided shade, which in turn has provided a really nice sort of place for the good grasses to grow. Guinea grass is one of the particular favorites of the elephants. And so now they've pushed over the trees, they've provided the shade, the guinea grass has grown, and they've almost like gardeners coming along and moving the bits of dead wood out of the way and then eating the guinea grass. And I just think it's a wonderful story. I don't think they do it intentionally in the slightest, but it's something that they managed to achieve, which I think is brilliant. He is in some very thick bush, everyone, so I'm not going to go in there after him, especially as we have seen many elephants today. But this is a particularly large bull, probably sitting at around 6 tons. Let's head back to the little hyenas at the hyena den. We'll see you on Arathusa.
From the sunset to a hyena grooming its youngster right in front of us. How lucky we are. It's a great thing to watch the grooming of another animal. We saw the male lions grooming themselves this morning under the thick trees that we were sitting at. And you see that, hygiene is a very important part of any animal's life out in the bush. It protects them from any disease that might be present or lurking in the backgrounds. Much like we have our showers every day, all the different animals are cleaning themselves from all the dirt and all the meat that they've been eating, all the blood, carcass. For the survival of their species, it's important to groom themselves. I think it's so cool to watch the youngster in the arms of the mother. Very cool. So it seems that they've been lying here, because this seems to be the same female and the youngster that we saw earlier this morning. So it seems to be the same ones, and they might have been lying down here for pretty much the whole day. So they're going to get a little bit more active as the night progresses, because they're mainly nocturnal animals, the hyenas. Oh, she's really grooming. It's cool to watch. You can clearly see the spots on the hyena now, and in the screen, the feathered top chloris grass. Hello, how are you? Can you hear that sound? Wow. How special this is to watch. I think she's done. She's like, I've groomed you now. You're nice and clean. Now you can get up. Begin your evening. Wow, they've got so much bigger, eh? From the last time when I saw them, when I came from my interview drive, it was small. They hadn't even developed those prominent spots that we can see now. Can you hear that? It sounds like one of the youngsters. Can you hear that, Dave? Crystal says, isn't that cool? That was December. Wow, that's incredible that you could recognize that was December. I'll never forget Corky and December. Those are the two names. Okay. And there was also one called November. If I remember correctly, there was November. And November had a white spot on its back foot. Is that right? I can't remember. Please, can you... No, it's not right. I just know that there was one called November and there was a white spot on one of them. So if you please let me know. Hashtag Safari Live. Let me know which one it was. I think it was December that had the white spot, so I'll confirm it with James and everyone a bit later. We'll have it. But it seems that they've just left us for now. They've gone around to the other side of the termite mound, but I think it's so cool that we managed to come in here really slowly and view these two hyenas just being with each other, sleeping in the afternoon and night underneath the incredible sunset, the African sun that we have had today. Another beautiful day in the African bush. Could we ask for anything better? Could we? I'm going to go around the termite mound to see if we can have a better visual of those hyenas. If not, we're going to move off slowly and see what some of the night critters that might be lurking around. Ooh, there you are. Hello. She's back. It's an interesting time of day. She's just put her head back down over there. I'm going to move forward. Dan was asking which one was making the noise. It looked like it was the youngster that was making that noise. Do you agree, Dave?
I would imagine, yeah.
Dave, behind camera, believes that it could also have been the youngster there. Ooh, have a look quickly, just while it's there. A beautiful, beautiful sight of that fork-tail drongo. Deborah, Armchair Traveller, thank you so much for informing me on the names of the youngsters of this hyena den. I'm slowly but surely learning them. And have a look at this fork-tailed drongo. It's such a magnificent shot of it sitting on the top of a branch in the evening. You've got the silhouette of that prominent fork at the bottom of its tail. This bird has a relationship with elephants called commensalism. So if anyone is very interested in biology and learning more about how relationships work in the natural world, commensalism is when one species benefits and the other species neither benefits or is harmed. So that is commensalism. And we often see the fork-tailed drongo with the big animals that walk around this property. Thank you for that sighting, Mr. Fork-tailed drongo. Let's go back to a beautiful hyena lying just over here. So thank you, Deborah. We had 1 November cub, 2 December cubs, and 2 January cubs. The one in December had the white spot. So it's all coming together. Thank you, Deborah. I really appreciate all the help that you've given, as well as all the other viewers that have been helping me, or all of you, helping me with identifying and developing a greater understanding of the psychology on Djuma. I know that you have been here for many, many years, and I've only just started, so you've made my time here a lot easier. What have you seen, smelt? It's so interesting to watch. You would have watched the young ones growing into their spots, so they would have been quite black. Imagine they must have been so cute when they were in that young pup or cub stage, rather. I often just want to go to pup because I think it's like a dog, but it's not. It's a cub. Call a hyena cub. But you can see, even though she's lying down, she's quiet, she's still moving her ears around, listening out for any sounds of the bush that might be happening. It's almost like how a great white sleeps with one eye open in the ocean. The hyena is constantly moving around his ears, trying to listen for any kills that might be made by lions or leopard out there. She's got her snout open because she can smell things from such far distances. As soon as she gets any scent of anything out there, she'll be gone to see if she can collect any and scavenge anything of a kill and bring it back to the hyena den. Wow. So it's starting to get a little bit darker here at the den. She looks very comfortable and rested in her position. I'm going to leave her now and let her get comfortable into her night. I know that she's going to get a little bit more active a bit later, but I'm also quite keen to see what animals of the night we can find tonight. I really, really, really want to see what do you call them again? I really want to see a...
Honey badger.
I really want to see a honey badger, Dave.
Civet?
A civet. I want to see a civet, but it's something else. I'll let you know when I come back. Let's see what James is up to.
We've just gone past the area where Tingana was seen before he killed that poor little kudu on Vuyatela. So we're on Arathusa, and he was lying sort of into the right-hand side there on a termite mound a little while back. David and I had the joy of seeing him at the end of the morning drive. But I don't see any tracks at this stage, and you can see the light has faded rather quickly. I think it feels like it's later than it actually is. We've still got about an hour left of the drive to go, and so tracking him is going to be difficult. But if we drive very slowly through here, he might pop out onto the road. He might pop out onto the road, but also maybe Shadow will pop out onto the road and we'll have a look at her. We haven't heard anything of her cubs for the last little while. And there's no one around this area apparently from Arethusa, so they're all off to the west looking for the Anderson male. Go. Anyway, it's very nice to be here on Arethusa. I haven't been for a little while. So we'll just keep looking gently down this road and see whatever else we can see. Viam, of course, is a fine leopard tracker. He will be watching the road. Very nice query from James Richard. Are there any animals that the local people have developed a positive relationship with? Positive relationship, I'm trying to think of what, I mean, so basically an animal like that has maybe been domesticated, or an animal that they don't have, they don't necessarily hunt or want to eat or use for medicine and that sort of thing. Not really. I mean, I guess elephants. Certainly, if we look at the Kalahari, if we look at the Bushmen of the Kalahari, they used to actually they almost domesticated eland, for example. So they had a relatively positive relationship, I suppose. But I think you'll find that in any kind of a rural area where human beings live, we are the apex predator, which means that if we can eat something and we're desperate, then that's what we're going to do. And so, James, I would say, I mean, it's difficult to say. There is a positive relationship, certainly, between the local people and many animals, in so much as the animals probably provide slightly more of a positive effect on the people than the people do on the animals. But, yeah, that's a very interesting one. I think I'd have to say no. I don't think so. But I don't think in the same breath, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's purely the fact that we're the apex predator. And I think if you go to rural areas anywhere in the world, you'll find the same kind of situation, especially in areas where people are a little kind of dependent on the land because there is no employment. Have you seen a leopard yet, Viam?
No.
I thought that's why you came on the drive, to see a leopard, didn't you?
Yeah, I know.
Well, you don't have forever, you know.
You were looking at the sunset for 2 hours.
That is true, yes. I was looking at the sunset for a few hours. Is that going to be sort of on the same list as buffalo and giraffe soon?
Buffalo's taken off of it.
Oh, buffalo's taken off the can't film list. Okay, well that's good. Giraffe?
It's on there now.
Giraffe? Sunset is on there now.
Yeah, giraffe.
Okay. Sunset and giraffe, no film. I don't see any leopards around here, everyone. I don't see anything around here, actually. We're going to stop and have a little listen at the next junction and see if we can hear anything shouting, anything deeply alarmed at the dappled coat of a male leopard. Now, I was talking earlier about the fact that the moon is going to be almost full tonight, and that it would be a difficult time for those lions to go hunting. Now, there is suddenly a very thick bank of cloud covering us. There is also wind blowing, which means that there are ideal hunting conditions for any cat. So I suspect what you'll find is that those lions will go hunting, especially that herd of buffalo is not too far from the dam. They're on the sort of, if they go heading off into Buffalo's Hook, then the buffalo might be okay. Maybe Sam will go and have a look at those lions and see what they're up to at this stage. That's actually a really good idea. Maybe they'll start moving. while we look forlornly for Shadow or Tingana. Do you feel forlorn, Viam? No, he looks quite happy to be back. And James Hendry Old Hat, well, it's fast becoming my favorite Twitter handle in the world, of course. The greatest Twitter handle ever developed was James Hendry's Fan, of course. So James Hendry's Old Hat is not too bad either. And you ask a lovely question about why, in the face of a food shortage, do animals not kill off their youngsters? Well, they do, you know. They don't do it intentionally, but they will leave them. They will leave them to die. Very often, animals out here will leave youngsters to die in the face of a food shortage. And that is simply because it doesn't make any kind of evolutionary sense for a whole group or family of animals to die when they could move on and the youngsters can't keep up. So it happens when the food sources are low and herds of animals will want to go off and try and find a food source distant from where the youngsters are born, and then absolutely it will happen that the babies will just be left. It happens with hyenas quite a lot, actually. It's quite interesting. I read the other day that there is too much pressure put onto a den. So for example, that den that our hyenas live in, if the lion and leopard pressure on that den becomes too great, they will simply abandon it. They'll just leave those cubs there to die. They will just decide one day they're not coming back and they'll go off somewhere else, which sounds awfully harsh, but it's not. It makes complete sense biologically, because if you want to survive, of course, it's no good you risking your life for your young cub or young pup out here, because it means then if you risk your life, they too will die. Oh, very nice. Liam has spotted a scavenging bird. Back?
Back more, yeah.
Good? Look at that ominous sign in the sky. Now, we were talking earlier, of course, about ominous things and birds or animals that people might kill for good luck or bad luck. The vulture is one such animal. Lovely. Sorry, I just had to wet my whistle, everybody. It's starting to get a little gruff in the throat. Just thought I heard something here. I'm just going to sit here for a second. Did you hear it, Viam?
No, what?
It just sounded like a sneeze.
Oh, that was a vulture.
Was it the vulture sneezing?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The vulture has got pneumonia and is sneezing. Isn't that a lovely shot?
There he goes again.
He is sneezing. I don't know if you can hear it, but he goes, bless you, Mr. Vulture. That's too funny. Let's see if he does it again. His crop is full. You see that swelling underneath his neck? That's his crop. He's obviously eaten somewhere around here today. I've never seen a bird sneeze before. See if he does it again. It's too wonderful. No. He's going to sneeze again, slightly insulted by the fact that we've laughed at him. Now that bird, of course, is a passerine, so it's a perching bird, but it isn't so much perching as balancing. A vulture has fairly large feet, and Eric, you're obviously quite au fait with the size of vultures' feet. You say, why are they so large? Well, I mean, I don't know that they're that much larger proportionately than many other birds, but I suppose the answer would be that they need them for balance when they are trying to scrabble around on a carcass. They don't they don't have those very powerful gripping muscles in the same way that many of the other raptors do. So it's difficult for them to perch. Well, I mean, they can sort of perch, but not like some of the other raptors. So maybe they have largish feet just for kind of balance and for fighting each other off at carcasses. I'm not sure, Eric. I mean, I've had a white-backed vulture sitting on my arm, and I didn't sort of look at its feet and think, well, those are much larger than any other raptor's feet. Certainly their claws aren't quite as long or sharp as those on a martial eagle, which is a similarly sized bird. That's a white-backed vulture, everyone. A white-backed vulture with a head cold. And he'll just sit there for the rest of the night, watch the night come in, and he's very safe up there. Right here, on we go. Kind of coming to the southern end of Arethusa at this stage. So I haven't spotted anything in the way of leopards. Tim, I'm going to ask you to try and clarify your question. You want to know if there are any villages within the Kruger. In terms of human settlement, no, there aren't, but there are lots of camps. So there are lots of places where you can come and stay, but there are no sort of sedentary human settlements here in the Kruger National Park, no. Well, Skukuza, I suppose you are. I mean, Skukuza, which is the headquarters of the Kruger Park, that's a good point, yeah, it is actually, I suppose, it's considered a town because there are so many staff that live there. So I guess Skukuza would be the only sort of village within the park. Thank you, that's actually a very good point. But it's there because of the park as opposed to kind of being there in spite of the park. I think if you go into Mozambique, into the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park and the Mozambican section, you might find one or two villages still around there. I don't think so though, but I mean, some of those areas are so remote that people may have moved back in. And I think it's a wonderful thing that happens in East Africa. The fences around the parks are often non-existent. So there's just a line that, you know, it's kind of a blurred line. And what it means is that people are forced to live with wildlife and wildlife are forced to live with people. And in the absence of the motivation to poach elephants and poach rhino, for example, for their horns, which is, of course, a profoundly stupid human pastime, it's amazing how well people and animals actually get on with each other. Let's turn on some extra light. It's a lovely fresh breeze blowing through the area. And Brian said to me yesterday, please could he have a chameleon for his birthday? Could he see a chameleon? And I thought, well, I'm sure we'll be able to find one. And we didn't see any chameleons. And I think that the lack of chameleons this year is a function of the lack of rain that we've had. So we really have had very poor rains and consequently few chameleon sightings, I think, because the insects are down as well. So not as many insects, therefore not as much for the chameleons to eat. And I just think they haven't survived as well as they would have. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about chameleons, maybe you're new viewers, chameleons we normally see at night because they're very iridescent. You can see them shining like odd colored leaves. And it was always great fun when hiding to you spot a chameleon, of course, it would be in the tree. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you don't see them. But if you do know what you're looking for, it's really very easy. But people would sit on the back of the car and you'd say, oh, there's a chameleon. And they'd go, oh my God, James, that's incredible. I can't believe, how did you spot that? And you'd kind of bask in a glow as if you'd done something profoundly amazing, when in actual fact, once you point it out to people, by the end of their safari, they're going, oh, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. It becomes very easy to spot chameleons when you know what you're looking for. I think let's go and have a quick turn around the Arethusa airstrip, and then we'll come back this way. Now, while we're driving along looking at not very much at all, Katya, I think this is a great question. What age could you bring a child on safari for them to kind of really enjoy it? Katya, I I'm going to say that I don't think it's worth bringing a child on safari before they're sort of 12 or 13. Maybe 10 or 11. You know, the drives are quite long, and so unless you really are kind of concentrating, they can be a bit boring for kids. If you come with a big group of kids, well then, I mean, you can tailor-make your safari accordingly. But if you come as a family of 4, and you have to share a vehicle with another couple or another family, then it can be a little difficult to tailor-make the safari for the kids. So I think sort of 12 or 13 is around about the time A, they're going to remember it the most, and B, they've got to have a little bit of biological knowledge, and so they will really appreciate what they're seeing. I think below that, I think a lot of it is kind of lost on kids unless, like I say, unless it is specifically tailor-made for them. And it can be. There are lots of places out here where they do kind of specialize in having kids. And I've done the odd kids safari, but in my experience, 12 and up is a good time. And on foot, you're not allowed to take somebody out. Well, I mean, you are allowed to, but I never would take somebody out on foot unless they were 16 and above, because you just can't guarantee how they will react to a potentially dangerous situation. But you can take, I mean, the rule in these lodges is basically 6 years old. Under that, it becomes a little bit dangerous. Right. So Tim, thank you very much for clarifying. You did mean settlements, so rural villages within the Kruger. You lived in Zambia in the 70s. Thanks for that background. And you say there were settlements in the national parks, and I think there probably still are. Tim, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Zambia, of course, two neighbors away from us, so it goes South Africa, then Zimbabwe, then Zambia, just north of Zimbabwe. Beautiful country, some iconic national parks of Africa: Luangwa, Busanga, Kafue. Really household names in the safari industry, if you like. Certainly one day I hope that we will be able to bring you pictures from a place like that. Of course, if we were to do this kind of thing in a place like Luangwa or Kafue or those places, you know, they don't have the infrastructure that South Africa does, and so we would have to be a completely mobile unit, and that would be just wonderful. So we couldn't have these big towers that we have here sending the signal to you. We'd have to somehow put those towers into the air. And I don't know if any of you saw, but a little while back we had a balloon in the air with a repeater on it, and that was part of that process. Dylan, I've never heard this. It's a wonderful question. You say, do any of the local people out here wear backwards facing masks like they do in India while they're farming, so that the tiger, or potentially a leopard even in India, thinks that they haven't got their backs turned to them? No, Dylan, I've never heard of that happening out here. I didn't think I'd heard of it, but there's something clanging in the back of my mind that makes me think I have heard of Indian people doing it in India, like you say, to warn tigers. Yeah?
Read it too.
You read it also. Thank you, Dylan. That's brilliant. So, I'm going to suggest it to people out here that should they be afraid of lions coming to attack them while they're hoeing their fields, they should wear a backwards-facing mask. That is brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Dylan. I had no idea, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't happen here. Right, let's go across to Sam. He's managed to find the Birmingham Boys.
We are back with the Birmingham Boys. They are still fast asleep, as you would have seen them just a little bit earlier with James. I'm not sure if they're in the exact same position as they were with James, but they are pretty much, these two are on top of each other, which is so cool to see. I think that might be Blondie on the left, so this is only the second time that I'm viewing the Birmingham males, and they are beautiful looking bunch of males, and I think if I'm corrected, is that Blondie on the left there? On the left of the screen, is that Blondie? Is that, oh wow, look there, he's opening the eyes. Look at those eyes, everybody. It's cool, eh? And that mane. Ooh, that was incredible. Do they look hungry? Cecilia says. You know, this is exactly, myself and Dave were like, let's go and find the lions. It's getting to that time of day where they're starting to wake up. You just saw a yawn. Their eyes are starting to open. The moon is about to rise over the horizon, and it's time to wake up. It's time to start marking their scent and showing their territory and making sure that it is all okay on their perimeters. At the same time, they're going to get hungry. So if it's not going out and scent marking throughout the evening, it's going to be to get up and go and find something to eat. But we have two here. So the two that we are seeing are here, and just to the right of these two is another one. So, of course, we are missing one. There was four. Where's the fourth one? There it is. There you are, sitting in the... Why are you so far from everyone else? I'm just going to get down so you can see him. There we go. There he is, lying in the distance over there. A little bit separated from his colleagues. I think he's just taking some time out before the big evening. It's interesting to see, once I get to know these Birminghams a bit better, you'll start to see the... I'm gonna get a torch out so that you can view it a bit better. I don't want to put the bright on. So I go like, there we go. So there he is, lying off into the distance there. Well, I don't want to shine it too bright. He's having a nice sleepy. Maybe he doesn't want to wake up just yet, so I'll just put it like that. But if anything is going to wake him up, this torch won't tell you why. Because the moon is about to rise in to the night, and it is a full moon tonight. I think it's a full moon tonight. Dave, it's either tonight or tomorrow, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So the moon will be out. It's tomorrow night. The full moon is tomorrow on Earth Day. So tomorrow is Earth Day, everyone. And it's going to be full moon. It's going to be a spectacular day to be out in the bush. Please join us tomorrow for both the morning safari and the afternoon safari. Hopefully the Birmingham boys will still be here. I'm sure they still will be. To be honest, it's very difficult to say that, because when the Birmingham boys get a little bit more awake, they've got quite a territory to walk in. As you'll know, their territories are huge. They'll go into the different reserves that are around here, from Torchwood to Buffelshoek down to the south, and to... I don't think they go as far as the Manuletti. I know they go out into Buffelshoek. I think they just take a little bit of the section of the Manuletti. But most certainly they go towards Torchwood and all the other places. But let's have another look at the lions. Dean in Nelspruit is asking, do we get white lions here? Dean, I haven't seen any white lions in this area, and I don't think you do. But I'm sure there's the possibility of seeing white lions out in the Kruger, and I know there used to be white lions in the Timbavati, but I haven't been researching on the developments and the growth of the white lion populations in the different parts of Southern Africa. It's a very good question. Thank you, Dean, for raising that. White lion is something that I'm still yet to encounter in my life. Hopefully I'll get to see a white lion. But when I was at Londolozi training, we had 4 different males there. They were beautiful, beautiful males. They were called the Majingalan, which, if my memory serves correct, it means security, like the security force, the Majingalan. And they were some very, very strong males. And they were dominant on the river, on the Sand River. And they were very different in terms of coloration, much like the ones that we are seeing here. The Birmingham, the boys down south, the Majingalon, there was one of them that had a very thick, dark mane, and that is kind of like a more dominant gene within the male population. If you see a lion with a very thick black mane, it's often because it is more dominant in the coalition and will have more dominance between all the other members. So it's quite interesting. That's not always the case, but it can be. And I'm still yet to be in the presence of lions roaring in the evening. That will make your heart and soul jump out of its body. It's an incredible thing to witness. It's almost like 27 lawnmowers going on at once. I think someone once made that kind of analogy. Thank you, Dave. I couldn't think of the word. Sometimes, those words just slip your mind. I'd be very grateful if you big boys could stand up and give us a loud roar under the beautiful moon that's about to rise above you. That would make me an exceptionally happy man. But the one on the right here does seem to have a much thicker and darker mane to the one on the left. And apparently one of them has a scar on under their eye. Don is saying, I like the way in which they are holding and touching each other while they're sleeping. Yes, it is very cool. And you know what? We've actually had some cool interactions this evening. We came in slowly to view the hyenas lying down, the mother and the cub lying down next to each other. And it was so cool to see that. And now we're sitting with two big, strong male lions lying pretty much on top of each other. That's what's incredible. The team, the camaraderie between the male lions is something that I've always found very cool. I've got a twin brother back in Cape Town. His name's Tom, and I feel much like a coalition, a pack. Me and my brother, when we were growing up, whenever we did anything, we did it together. We took on school. We had the same friends. We went to university together, and that relationship is actually a very, very important one because, it's that little bit of dependency that you can have gives you the best advantage in life. To have someone beside you along the way is always great. And these are 4 big male lions they'll be independent when they need to, but when they need their dependency in terms of the pack, the coalition, that strength in numbers will make a big difference when it comes to other male lions coming into their territory. And that was an interesting encounter when I was down at London. I wasn't there at Londolozi when the Minjingalon took over. I think it was from the Mapochos, which was a very, very big fight between the male lions. So I'm also still yet to see male lions fighting. So it's not very early on in my guiding career, and I'm looking forward to learning and seeing how lions interact with each other in different circumstances. We don't have much time left of drive tonight, and I'm hoping that one of them will get up and start moving and stretching. It's always cool when you watch them stretch their bodies and get ready for the night ahead of them. But if they don't, it's not a problem. They can get their rest before the evening commences and moves. But the rain, the clouds that were above us seem to have just left us, and now the stars are out to play. Let's just see for a second. Are you able to see some of the stars out there? Look how awesome that evening sky is. And you can't see the moon at the moment, so it's behind us. But that sunset that we saw this evening was incredible from what I saw, apparently from where James was. Also a nice red sun going down over the western horizon, over those Drakensberg mountains. But with that, while we sit with these lions, also feeling a little bit sleepy, just sitting here with the lions. They're making me a bit tired. Let's go and see what James is up to.
How cool is this picture, everybody? Look at this beam of the Starship Enterprise going up towards the spaceship. Isn't it, Viam?
Yep.
You think Captain Kirk will land here?
I don't know. I'm more of a Captain Picard fan.
Ah, you're a Captain Picard fan.
I'm Next Generation, remember?
No, you're one of those. Let's turn the lights on. We turned the lights off because there were some impalas, and then we discovered this phenomenal spotlighting technique, of course, of spotlighting the dark. Oh, look. Oh, no, you stupid bird. Did you see it fly in there? It was a little owl, everybody, and the stupid person, well, if there is a stupid organism here, it's me, because I didn't spot it on time. A pearl-spotted owl, tiny little owlet, sitting here on this dead tree. But unfortunately, it's flown into that bushel. Let's go a little bit closer there. We're on the Arethusa airstrip. There was nothing here, a couple of wildebeest and some impalas, but nothing else. Everything quite relaxed, of course, in the safe and the knowledge that the Birmingham boys are fast asleep on Vuyatela or Juma. They went into that bush there. There it is. Ha! I can see it, Viam. Can you see it?
No.
There. You got it. Super zoom in. Yes. Well done. Now, this is actually brilliant. What is brilliant about this, of course, is that we were talking about that practice of wearing a mask backwards so that you deter predators. This bird does exactly the same thing. Look at that. He's got two black eye stripes, eye patches on the back of his head, which makes it look like he's looking behind him. What a wonderful link nature has provided between a question and actual nature. I guess that would be some indication or some a small example of Sam's favorite topic, which is biomimicry, where human systems mimic something that nature has been doing for years, millennia. See those little eye patches there at the back? That particularly irritating bit of tree is getting in the way. Where'd he go? Now, he actually can be a diurnal owl. He's not always totally nocturnal. Let's see if we can make him call. I'm going to try and call him with a whistle. Right, let's give him 10 seconds. The pearl-spotted owls of this area are so uncooperative when it comes to doing this. I was once wooing a lady, and I was working down south at Londolozi, and her parents came to stay. She too was working at the lodge, and her parents came to stay, and I was assigned to drive them. And we saw one of those pearl-spotted owls, and I stopped the car and I whistled, and it came closer, and I whistled, and it came closer, and I whistled, and it came closer, and then it sat on a branch, not sort of maybe 6 feet from where I was whistling. Well, the whole family thought I was an absolute hero. It wasn't too long after that my wooing bore fruit. There is the bird. Didn't end well, but it started well, everyone. This is fantastic. This is the best sighting of a pearl-spotted owl you'll ever have. I'm just going to turn the side light onto him so that we don't have... There we go. There, that's better than the sort of white spotlight. He will look slightly jerky now because the camera's struggling to pick him up, but it's just less offensive to his eyes. to have the gentle wash of the floodlight. Yeah, his lovely yellow eyes there. And he eats all sorts of things, often larger than him. He will eat woodland kingfishers, believe it or not. He's about the same size as a woodland kingfisher. Again, I suppose the perspective of your screens doesn't necessarily allow you to see what size he is. He's pretty small. He's only about, he's about less than half a foot tall. So less than he's about 6 inches, I guess. He's about 6 inches tall. Maybe slightly taller, maybe 8 inches. And he's called a pearl-spotted owl, which I don't think you'll be able to see here. He turns around on his front and on his head. He's got very kind of obviously pearl sort of coloured spots, but in this light, difficult to see. I'm going to try and whistle for him once more. Looks irritated. Can't believe what he's just heard. Yeah, he's up here. He's in there. Monique, I think I saw him flying there, Viam. I'll just go a little bit forward. Monique, he's the same size as a scops owl. You wanted to know if he was smaller than a scops owl. He's about the same size. There he is. Scops owl, everybody, similar size. He's not calling because he doesn't want me to think that I've seen him. There we go. I'm going to call once more just to see if he'll actually call for us. Very cross. I think what you'll find is that they also normally call at dusk and at dawn. And so he'll think twice about calling now because it will give away his position. He's on the hunt, and so he won't necessarily want the other birds to know where he is. There. There's some young ones calling, you know. How cool is that, everyone? There's another one way in the distance calling. But just below him, I'd love to say it was me that induced him to call, but I don't think it was. Just below, did you agree? Did you hear something kind of rasping, like a sort of raspy call of the pearl-spotted owl? Yes. And I wonder if there isn't a youngster or a nest somewhere in here. Let's just go slightly forward and have a look. Maybe those were fledglings calling. I don't remember what a pearl-spotted owl nests in. I imagine it's probably a very thick bush like this. Sort of at this height, sort of my head height. And it was kind of like an immature call. I don't want to spend too long here in case there is a nest and disturb it. That would be fascinating to see. Let's just turn off and see if we can hear it once more. I'll give it one more whistle. What a tremendous experience. Alrighty, let's head on out of here, back towards home and Juma. Thank you, Liam. That was great fun. William in Oregon, thank you very much for kind compliments. Fantastic spotting. Well, I did my best initially to lose it, of course. Then we found it again, and yes, of course, Liam back from leave, hasn't lost any of his old skills. Brilliant camera work. Liam, of course, was in the Kalahari for his leave, and he was not entirely without a camera, were you, Liam?
No, never entirely without a camera.
And Liam is the kind of person, and you all know one of these people in your lives, who is a tinkerer. He's a fixer of things. He doesn't go and buy things, he makes them himself. So he's created this whole kind of mount for his camera on his personal car. He arrived back, he put what did you put in your car? A new computer?
Yeah.
A new brain. So now he cannot drive the car without a laptop sitting next to him or attached to his windscreen, which mixes his fuel. It tells the car how much, I don't know what it does. It does all sorts of incredibly complicated things. But basically, driving Liam's car is now like flying a Boeing 747. And that's not, we haven't even got started on his mobile home. Which in fact, one day, you know what, one day, Liam, we're going to set it up and show the viewers your mobile home. Let's head across to Sam while we head out of Arathusa.
Apparently you have been having some great viewing of a pill-spotted owlet. That's fantastic. Beautiful sound. I'm sure James made a significant sound there. Is it something like... Or was that nothing on James's? I'm sure James's is well rehearsed. Much better, really, eh? Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to try and compete. At least I tried. Eh? That was the important thing. And I heard he was talking a little bit about biomimicry. That's okay, James. You can talk about whatever you like. I mean, that's a really interesting, fascinating subject. And now we said, oh, hello. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. A little roll over. Yes. What are you dreaming about? That buffalo I'm going to eat tonight. It's going to be tasty. Look at the position he's in. That's so funny. He's out. Hey, we're not seeing them get up there. What do you think, Dave? I don't think so. Ooh, here we go. The other one on the right here. He's also getting in a nice, comfortable position. Let's check what... Ooh, there we go. This seems like a common position to get into. So we've got two lions on their back with their mouths half open. Oh, is the third one going to do it? Please do it. That would just make my day. That would make me very excited. Yeah, so it looks like they're probably most likely going to be relaxing in that position for quite some time. I don't see them changing that anytime soon. I think they're quite enjoying it. I often thought, what would they do in a situation where something like a buffalo walked past, or in Nyala, or a kudu, just they didn't notice a lion and then they walked into a lion sleeping like that. What would happen? I think that would be quite funny. Maybe he would get up on his all 4 feet, he'll just turn around and jump, and then he's out. Oh, but this is going to be the rest of the evening. Oh, there, yes, we've got a third one. Oh, that's great. This is fantastic. Nice, comfortable position. All three are now on their backs. That is a great sighting if I've ever seen one before. Let's quickly have a look to see if the other one is in a similar position. No. He's just moved. In Lalapanzi, which means he is fast asleep. He is fast asleep. These two, let's get a close-up with the one with his mouth a little bit open. See those teeth. Let's see those teeth. Oh. I'm just going to get in a bit better position so that other people can view the sighting. Yeah, I think my car's indicating for some reason. There we go. I'm not on a highway anyway. I'm just going to put on my backlight. Sorry about that, everyone's gone black screen. There we go. That's also a really nice angle of them. I'm also really enjoying how they're sleeping. It's a fascinating little position they're all in there. Have a look at those teeth. Let's try and get closer to those teeth if we can. There we go. Those are the canines just in front of them. Powerful, powerful grip. Look at the hair just beneath its chin, the nose, the nostril, those eyes, built for smelling, for tasting, for eating. The male lion, fast asleep, dreaming about the buffalo that he might just encounter later tonight. And I'll tell you what, the light that we have on them is not bothering them in any way. As you can see, they are still all fast asleep. If I noticed in any kind of way that the light was bothering them, I would switch it off immediately. So anyone that's concerned about that, don't worry, because you can quite clearly see that they are fast asleep. If you can, screenshot that. It's a great shot of a sleeping male lion. Well, so I was hoping that the male lions would have got up and shown them some of their dominance, watched them scent mark and roar, but that will be for another time. Tonight we got the privilege of watching them sleep in a very, very deep way. Thank you, Mr. All the Male. Oh, there's a nice stretch from the long one in the back. It's been a great afternoon from the young kids from the school and to everyone else. It's been a great drive. Dave, thank you very much for being behind camera. We seem to always be having great drives. And thank you very much, Kirsty and Rebecca, that are behind. I really appreciate all your help out there. And we're going to say good night with that. Let's switch to James to see what he's doing.
There's a genet, everyone. There's a genet right in the middle of the spotlight. You hardly ever see these. That's a large spotted genet. You see it, Phil?
No, I don't.
There it's running. Oh, it stood so still, everyone. It was dead still. Just before I managed to get the spotlight on it and before you came live. Anyway, small genet. Sorry about that. Pretty. But we have got a very nice shot of the moon coming up. Let's just go up onto the ridge crest here, where we can look to the east. We might also get some lightning. I did see a little bit of lightning from the Aratuza airstrip. We're back on Juma, on Zoe's Road. I'm just going to drive a little bit quicker so that we can get there before we run out of light completely, or at least of time completely. Hello, Gracie. You say you're still 8 and nearly 9 and you wouldn't get bored on safari. Gracie, that I do believe, because you, of course, are a safari expert. But we must remember, Gracie, not everybody your age is a safari expert. So they will find it a little bit boring, maybe. But maybe I'm wrong. We're nearly at the top of the hill here. We'll stop there for the last minute and enjoy the sight of the moon disappearing behind the clouds. There we go. Let me turn so you can see both. There we go. Have a look there, everyone. Look at that. Now, William's found out a very fancy function on this camera. If I stop rolling the car forward, he'll be able to use it. Look at that. Isn't that special? So what that does is it slows down the frame rate, if you understand what that means. I've got no idea what it means at all, as far as the video camera goes. But that's much brighter than it looks even to the naked eye. But it gives you an idea that the sky is still blue in the night. It's not a great big black cloak over the world. Yeah, and you can see that frame rate is what makes it slightly jerky when he moves the camera. And you can see a star there. I think that's a really tremendous picture. I'm not sure what it looks like on your screens, but the blue that we see is almost as bright as the daylight sky. Righty, everybody, that's it from us today. Thank you very much for being with us, for chatting to us, asking wonderful questions. We had some great in-depth conversations, and I really appreciate those. Thank you, Viam, for your efforts today. Welcome back from leave. Very nice. Thank you to Kirsten, the final control, and Rebecca as well. And, of course, a big thanks to Samuel and David. We'll see you tomorrow at 0600. Until then, bye-bye.